it's Vijaya and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we are going to explore Indian street food. Now, this is something that I've been meaning to do for a very long time, and I thought we'd start with a recipe that not everyone is too familiar with, and that's Keema Pav. The word keema means minced meat, the word pav means bread, and this is a dish of a minced meat curry that's saucy, tangy, spicy, that's paired with, get this, buttered toasted buns. I mean, just the buttered toasted buns on their own sound so delicious. This recipe speaks to me, and this is pretty much India's answer to the sloppy Joe. So you can build it as a sandwich or rip off pieces of bread and dunk it into the curry. Either way, it's super delicious. But before we get started, don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you're loving the recipes. I would appreciate the love. And of course, if you're looking for the full recipe, all you have to do is click that info box under the video and everything you need is there. Let's make some Keema Pav. So the great thing about this recipe is that everything takes place in one pan with the exception of the toasted buns, but we'll deal with that a little later on. And to this frying pan, I'm gonna add a little bit of oil. So my pan is on medium heat. My oil is going to heat up quite quickly, and now we're going to temper some spices. So I have a bay leaf, some cinnamon stick, as well as some cloves and black peppercorns, and I'm going to slowly drop them into the oil and saute them for about 10 to 15 seconds, which gives them enough time to release their essential oils into the oil. And a great sign of when these are done is when the cloves puff up. Up next, I'm going to add my finely chopped onions, and we're going to saute these off for about 5 to 7 minutes or until they turn a beautiful golden brown color. Now is where things get fun. We're going to start developing the flavor base for this curry. And on this plate, I have some green chilies, some grated ginger and garlic, as well as Kasoori Methi, also known as dried fenugreek leaves. I also use this in my butter chicken, and they're all going to go into the pan with the onions. I'm going to saute them off for about 30 seconds or until the pan is really aromatic. I'm now gonna go in with a big old knob of butter. We're gonna let that melt in, and then some fresh herbs. So I have some fresh chopped mint, which is so unexpected, but paired with the tomato, it's absolutely delicious, as well as some fresh chopped coriander. And we're gonna saute these off for about 15 seconds until they slightly wilt and release their flavor. In any curry, there's always an element of acidity, and in this one, it's tomato. So in go my finely chopped tomatoes. We're gonna increase the heat to medium-high, and we're gonna cook the tomatoes until they break down and become nice and jammy in texture. And a great sign of when the tomatoes are done is when the fat starts to pool along the edges of the tomatoes. That's when you know that they've caramelized and have reached their peak flavor. My tomatoes have cooked down beautifully. You can see the fat crackling around the edges. And now I'm gonna go in with a couple of powdered spices. So a little bit of Cayenne chili for heat, as well as turmeric for that beautiful yellow color. And we're gonna mix this all so that it's nice and incorporated. Now I'm gonna go in with my ground meat. Today I'm using lamb, but the great thing about this recipe is that it's super flexible. So you could use ground chicken, turkey, beef, even pork, or if you're vegetarian, you can consider using a ground meat alternative or even chopped up tofu. In goes my lamb. I'm going to season with a bit of salt, and we're going to work to incorporate the tomato mixture into the lamb just to make sure things are nice and distributed. Now I'm going to cook this on high heat until the lamb is completely cooked through, slightly browned, until all the excess moisture has evaporated from the pan. So this is what our lamb looks like when it's cooked down. This is really important to get the most flavor that we possibly can out of our lamb. But of course, this pan is looking a little dry. I promised an Indian sloppy Joe, and I am here to deliver. So we're going to add a touch of water to the pan, just enough so that we get a saucy curry, and we're gonna let that bubble away for a few minutes. And just like that, our keema is done. It's bubbly, it's glistening, it looks absolutely perfect. And now I'm gonna garnish with some fresh chopped coriander for that little pop of color, and we're good to go on this front. Next up, we're talking the buns. You know how much I love my toasted buns. I have some everyday hamburger buns here. I'm gonna butter them generously on both sides, get them into a hot pan, and toast them until they're nice and golden. We've got our toasted buns on deck, our hot keema, and now it's time to put this guy together. I'm gonna do it sloppy Joe style and turn it into a sandwich. So we're gonna take a nice big scoop of that keema. Oh my gosh, it's luscious, it's saucy. We're gonna top it with the top bun, and now it's time for the taste. Sloppy joes are notoriously messy, so let's see how I fare, hopefully well. Oh, we already have little bits falling out. The first thing I get when I bite in is that pillowy bun with that crispy buttered crust. Absolutely sensational, and then you get a whole flux of flavor. The layers of flavor that we've developed in this dish, first with the whole spices, then with the ground spices, the herbs, the development of flavor, the caramelization of the onions, the tomatoes, it all ends up resulting in a flavor blast. The meat is so tender and succulent, and paired together with everything, it's just so gosh darn tasty. If you want to put your own spin on sloppy joes, or you want to explore Indian street food, then this recipe is for you. Nice and simple, with toasted buns. You know I love the toasted buns, and it's just an easy meal that you can make for lunch, dinner, or even take on a picnic. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, feel free to give me a big ol' thumbs up, you know how that makes me feel. If you're new to the channel, thank you so much for joining me. Please subscribe for more videos. And as always, if you have a question, comment, concern, request, anything you want to get off your mind, people, leave it in the comments down below. Until my next video, I will see you all later. Bye!